Hello everyone, Mr. Esteban here. Welcome to another English lesson. Now, if you remember our previous lesson, we learned about English pronouns, what they are and how they're used. This lesson will have a lot to do with the previous lesson. So in case you don't remember how pronouns work, I encourage you to watch that lesson first and then come back. Alright, let's begin. On this lesson, we will learn about the verb to be, and specifically how to use it in the present simple. That's right, the verb to be. English teachers are always going on and on about the verb to be, am I right? Well, there's a reason for that, and that's because it is one of the most fundamental aspects about the English language. And even though some people think it is hard to learn, that's actually not the case. So let's see what this verb is all about. So what do we know about verb to be? Well, first, we know it is a verb. In fact, it is the most used verb in the English language. It is also an irregular verb, meaning basically that it changes its form when it's conjugated. We'll see more about that in a moment. It has quite a number of different uses, which I think is part of the reason why some people find it complicated. And its equivalent in Spanish are the verbs ser and estar. Okay, so if you remember our previous lesson, we did see in fact the verb to be in quite a number of occasions. I just never called attention to it because that lesson was about the use of pronouns. But if you look at the exercises we did in that lesson, you will see that this is the verb to be, and this is the verb to be. And all of these are the verb to be as well. As a matter of fact, so far I have used the verb to be a total of 21 times. So let's see how the verb to be is conjugated in present simple. In the present simple, the verb to be has three different forms: am, is, and are. Am is only used with the first person singular. For example, I am happy. Is used with the third person singular. For example, he is happy, she is happy, or it is happy. And finally, are, which is used with the first person plural, for example, we are happy, or with the third person plural, as in they are happy. And finally, with the second person, as in you are happy. Also, don't forget that the pronoun you can be both singular or plural depending on the context. Sentences have different structures depending on whether they're affirmative, negative, or if they're questions. In affirmative sentences, the verb to be must always come after the subject. For example, he is fit. Negative sentences are simply formed by adding not after the verb. For example, he is not fit. On the other hand, in order to formulate a question, the verb must come before the subject. For example, is he fit? By the way, you've probably seen the verb to be written like this. We call these contractions. Do you see this symbol right here? These are called apostrophes. The contracted form of the verb doesn't change its meaning at all. In fact, it's much more common than the not contracted form, especially when speaking. However, you must always use the not contracted form in formal context. In negative sentences, you can contract the verb in two different ways, with the exception of the first person. They're both equally valid, and it doesn't change the meaning. For example, he's not happy and he isn't happy. As you can see, both sentences mean exactly the same. So how did we go from to be to is or are? Well, if you think about it, it's the same that happens in Spanish when you conjugate a verb. Remember how I told you that the verb to be means ser and estar in Spanish? Well, you wouldn't really say yo ser feliz in Spanish, would you? Of course not. That's why we conjugate verbs. To be is just the infinitive form of the verb, just like ser and estar are the infinitive. That's why we add to the verb. The infinitive basically means that the verb is in its basic form, without being conjugated. And if you think about it, these three English words equal all of these Spanish words. Pretty cool, right? Point to English for efficiency. Alright, but enough about grammar. What can we really do with the verb to be? In the present simple, the verb to be is mostly used to indicate the state of being of a subject. That is, describing or giving information about the state of the person or thing we're talking about. We can do this in three different ways. First, with a noun. For example, I am a teacher. Sean is a doctor. You are students. So basically what we're doing here is giving information about all of these subjects. Teacher, doctor, students are all examples of nouns. The second way in which we can use the verb to be is with an adjective. Remember what adjectives are? Adjectives are words that are used to describe a noun. For example, Bob is tired. I am inevitable. The house is red. So as you can see, we can use the verb to be to describe people, objects, animals, etc. Finally, we can use the verb to be with prepositional phrases. A prepositional phrase is a group of words that begins with a preposition. For example, we are at home. Maluma is from Colombia. The test is on Wednesday. On these three examples, we have used the prepositions at, from, and on. And as you can see, they provide different information, like the location of somebody or the time an event is taking place. The verb to be is also used to indicate someone's age. Notice that unlike Spanish, in English you don't have a certain age, you are a certain age. So what can you tell me about yourself by using the verb to be? Try writing 5 sentences about you. You can use your name, your age, how you're feeling right now, where you're from, etc. I will give you some examples about myself. Then you can try doing it on your own. I am Esteban Alvarez. I am 27 years old. I am hungry. I am from Puerto Montt. I am an English teacher. Okay, so now it's your turn. Alright, time to apply what we have learned today. On these 11 exercises, you must complete by using one of the three forms of the verb to be according to the subject of each sentence. As always, I recommend you to try this on your own first, and then come back for the explanation. I also suggest you keep this chart at hand so you can see which of the three forms apply in each sentence. For example, on the first sentence, the subject is Annie. And since Annie equals she, the answer is. Annie is very happy. Repeat, Annie is very happy. Now it's your turn. Complete the other 10 sentences. Once you're finished, continue watching to check your answers. Alright, time to check. In exercise 2, the subject is Tom and Peter, which equals they. Therefore, the answer is are. Tom and Peter are in the park. Repeat, Tom and Peter are in the park. In number 3, the subject is George, which equals he. Therefore, the answer is. George is a good football player. Repeat, George is a good football player. The subject of number 4 is she. Therefore, the answer is also is. She is a dancer. Repeat, she is a dancer. The subject of number 5 is the shoes. That is plural, so it equals they. Therefore, the answer is are. The shoes are black. Repeat, the shoes are black. In number 6, the subject is you. Therefore, the answer is are. You are very friendly. Repeat. You are very friendly. In number 7, Susan equals she. Therefore, the answer is. Susan is good at tennis. Repeat. Susan is good at tennis. In number 8, the answer is are, since the subject is they. They are in their house. Repeat. They are in their house. In number 9, the subject is me and Julia. That equals we. So the answer is are. Me and Julia are very good friends. Repeat. Me and Julia are very good friends. Finally, the cat equals it. Therefore, the answer is. The cat is outside. Repeat. The cat is outside. Okay, so that concludes today's lesson. As you may have seen, the verb to be isn't entirely terrible, and it has a lot of functions. And you can be sure we will see it again in the future. Don't forget that if you have any doubt about the use of the verb to be, or any other thing related to the English language, you can send me an email to the address showing up on screen right now. I will be seeing you guys next week with another lesson. In the meantime, you can check some other lesson on this very channel. This has been Mr. Esteban wishing you a happy week. Stay safe.